As the Federal Reserve continues to raise rates, the housing market is under increasing pressure. The National Association of Realtors reported that pending home sales based on signed contracts fell by 4% in November compared to October. Pending home sales declined in all parts of the country. On a year-over-year basis, however, the West is the most impacted, while the Midwest happens to be the most stable. And while pending home sales and existing home sales continue to decline, the Home Affordability Index, as published by the National Association of Realtors, isn't showing a rosy picture either. While income continues to rise, it isn't at the same pace as rising mortgage rates, and therefore monthly payments as a percentage of income is increasing, thus making houses more unaffordable. So what are people doing? Well, according to the National Association of Realtors, buyers and sellers are basically holding off. They're holding off on whether it's home purchases or home sales for that matter, which is creating an even bigger issue in the marketplace. Since inventory of homes continues to be low, there isn't a substantial drop in prices of homes. For that matter, according to the St. Louis Fed, the median prices of homes is continuing to increase, albeit at a slightly slower pace. This bodes favorably for home sellers, of course, since they aren't having to deal with dropping home prices. However, they're having to keep their prices on the market for an extended period of time. Home builders are, of course, seeing the same data. They are also batting down the hatches for a potential upcoming recession. Therefore, the number of home construction permits is also declining, which is, of course, not helping the supply issue. So what can you expect? Well, it largely depends on what seat you are sitting in. If you are a homeowner, as an example, you can expect the number of sales flyers in your mailbox to continue to increase from real estate agents who are trying to market themselves such that they can have access to your homes. And this is largely driven due to the fact that real estate income has dropped significantly since houses are sitting on the market for an extended period of time. If you are, however, thinking about selling your home, it's arguably not a bad time to do so. The economic downturn has officially not quite hit yet, i.e. the recession is expected to occur primarily in Q2 or Q3 of 2023, according to experts, of course. But we don't quite know if that is actually going to occur because there is a case out there to be made that the Fed may be able to engineer a soft landing. But it's also not completely out of the question since the Fed does need to drive job losses in order to drive wage reductions because that is the primary driver when it comes to inflation. If you are selling your home though with a rapid sense of urgency, and that could be for whatever reason, it is important to ensure that your home is effectively competitive, and that could be competitive in terms of the amount of upgrades that are in that home or competitive in terms of prices. If you are a home buyer, you're probably in the worst situation of all three categories. And this is largely driven by the fact that home prices, while they have come down a little bit, are still less than desirable. They are all very unaffordable, and due to supply constraint, this continues to create this issue in the marketplace. And should there be a recession in 2023 going into 2024, it is likely that people will be concerned about job losses, and that could create an even bigger issue should people essentially buy a home that they cannot afford. I would expect to see from a data perspective that pending home sales as well as existing home sales to continue to unfortunately decline, driven by the fact that buyers will sit on the sidelines in the next few months. What's unlikely to occur though is a significant drop when it comes to home prices in the short term here, contrary to what most YouTubers are talking about. This is driven by the fact that borrowing continues to be healthy. This is not similar to the crisis that occurred in 2008. And when you have a shortage in the supply of homes, that in itself is going to maintain the price of homes. But it will normalize to a historical rate of return. That's the latest in terms of how the housing market is looking. What are your thoughts when it comes to home buyers, home sellers, and homeowners? Include all of that in the comments. And if you enjoyed the contents of this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.